Hey, welcome back to the Passive Buddies podcast. And today we've got an exciting one because who wouldn't want to be a god? Brandon, would you want to be a god?
It's always been a dream of mine at one point to be a god. How about you?
Yes, especially a god in this, guys. So today we are going to cover how to be a content god in a hell of a lot less time. What do you do when the dream of an online business makes you work harder than a day job would? The answer? You build passive income. On the Passive Buddies podcast, we cover the myths behind passive income and how to build true financial and time freedom. Welcome to the Passive Buddies podcast. Were you thinking like a Zeus or a Hercules or something like that?
Oh, that's a tough call. Probably like a Greek god. Maybe a superhero. I don't know. There's so many good options. I'm a big Marvel fan. Oh, I wouldn't say a big Marvel fan, but me and my wife go to all the theaters to see like all the different movies because it is a lot of fun to live in that fantasy.
Yeah, to be fair, with the Marvels, I watched the Spider-Mans and I've watched the Avengers, like the
Yeah.
event of the Infinity War and the Endgame. I think I've watched, but other than that, I've not really watched the rest of them. Me little boy, my middle one, Ollie, he is banging to Marvel. He loves them. Runs around like pretending he's Captain America, like shooting us with Iron Man with his like laser hands all the time.
Well, there's the whole Disney Plus streaming service. You can watch all to your heart's content.
Yeah, we literally Disney Plus was quite clever, really. They released Disney Plus around the exact time the UK was getting locked down first time round, so everybody was jumping on it. So yeah, I mean, we've got Disney Plus. The kids absolutely love it.
There you go. So we're going to be talking about how to be a content god in less time. And so what are some of I know you are a big fan of automation. The Slack channel is always popping. So what are your kind of tips for being a content god? So like how to get things done quicker.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because like when you look at like how do you grow a business like on social media, it's conversation domination, isn't it? So it's like how the hell do you dominate that conversation in so many different platforms? Because like people will say like master one platform and then go from there. When I actually think that's a bad idea, because it like unless like because each platform brings its own value. Right.
Right.
So if you're gonna focus on a certain platform, at least make it two. And we always talk about it, and we always say like long-term platform, short-term platform. So like Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are your short terms, and like YouTube's your long term. Because with having evergreen content like YouTube, you can always be found years later, generate leads, etc. And you can start to turn that lead generation from content, which is the whole reason you do it, into an automated process. So the way I do it is like we get one long form piece of content. So we do a YouTube video. And from that YouTube video or the podcast episodes, we start chopping these things up. We start like transcribing them and creating like content pieces. We create short out of the long form content. We try and put, so for instance, once that system's set up, I only need to record a YouTube video or a podcast episode, and then I don't have to do the rest because the team can go and edit, go and chop things up, go and create the small pieces of content out of the big pieces and then put them out. The fact that you can then, if for instance, you create a long form piece of content, there's one piece of content. Then you can create a blog around that and embed the video and put it on your website. There's two pieces of content. From there, you take that and then you can do a series of posts around that blog in each section. There's probably another 5 pieces of content. Take the video, splice it up into, say it's a 15-minute video, probably get 8-9 pieces of content out there. And there's a short form piece of content for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels, and YouTube Shorts. So there's 4 posts a day, and you've got 8 of them from one video. And I think having that scenario is pretty key. You do have to do native content on the platform as well. You can't just keep repurposing. You have to be able to do native content, stick with trends, obviously for that virality. What about yourself?
Yeah, so that's, I mean, that's a great way to do it, especially because you were talking about how you can repurpose it from, say, a video content into like articles that you can use for different posts and do SEO with that. And so there's all sorts of great ways you can repurpose content using video to blog posts, from video to audio, and everything in between. Now they're doing things where they can take a blog post, take the audio from it, like where they have it transcribed into audio, like text to speech, and then make actual video off the blog post by AI, which is kind of cool. So it's going back and forth, which is really cool when you think about it. As far as for myself, I do something similar. So what I'll do is I'll post on YouTube, similar to like what you were saying, and then I'll have one of our VAs take the video either live from Facebook or off of our YouTube channel, and then take that video and splice it up into like 1 minute clips. And from there, I'll just he'll email it to me. I'll download it on my phone and upload it to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube very quickly. And I keep them all at a minute so that I'm able to essentially pretty much post on all three of the content platforms, because YouTube only allows for, I think it's 1 minute or 60 seconds rather. And Instagram and Facebook are only, I think, 90 seconds. And so you have to make sure that I can maximize my time. So he takes 1 minute clips, and then I post it on all those. And then I make sure that I don't have any watermarks on, say, Instagram. So I either just post it native to the platform, and I won't mention what platform I won't just be like, hey, Instagram or anything like that. But I'll also have him post a little kind of banner, in a sense, on the like first second of the clip, so that I don't have to add anything that's already kind of on there, and you can kind of see what the meaning of the video is. So it's like a 3 second or a small word, like 3 words, to just kind of pop attention. And so I'll do that. And then you can obviously do all the other things that you have added, where you can take that information on the shorts. You can start doing SEO with it, do articles, do Medium posts. You can do like you take rev.com and you transcribe the whole podcast that we're doing. You put that on a YouTube video, and then you can take Quillbot, I think it's called, and I just subscribe to it. It's pretty cool, and it will paraphrase exactly what you said, so it'll make it so that it's not what's it called, when you're ripping someone else's
yeah. So rephrasing the content.
Exactly. And so you can do all that. So there's so many different ways now with technology that you don't need like a copywriter. You don't need you can automate so much today. It's pretty cool what you're able to do.
Yeah, well, when you go into the fact that obviously just Writesonic in terms of content, getting that that written content pieces. So let's say obviously we're recording this podcast, we transcribe it, we take the transcription, copy and paste it into Writesonic, it'll rephrase it, it'll come up with new pieces of content. For instance, you know how we've started doing it recently with Facebook posts. So you know how you're supposed to post in so many different groups and stuff like that. So we write our main post for Facebook, and then we just copy and paste that post into Facebook, into Writesonic, rephrase it, and then we've now got 4 different types different types of the same message that we can start putting into other people's Facebook groups. So it doesn't look copy and paste, it doesn't look spammy. We're delivering the same message, just in different ways by rephrasing. So I know Quillbot does that rephrasing, I know Writesonic does that rephrasing, and it gives you the ability to, because you're hammering home the same messages all the time, aren't you? You've got your 3 to 5 core messages within your marketing that you will have to consistently bang on and bang that drum. So having those rephrasing pieces in Quillbot or Writesonic is just amazing, because you get to bang that drum without even have to think about it repeatedly over and over again.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool that you use. And if you guys don't know, there'll be a link to learn more about Writesonic down below. But a tool that can take what you've already written and then paraphrase it or change the wording to summarize it in a different way so that you can post it onto Facebook. And if you do it onto different groups, it doesn't hurt the algorithm as much because you're not just straight copy pasting. You're taking creating another native piece of content essentially. And so that's what's so important about using these tools is you're going to be able to reach farther, and you're going to be able to save time by not kind of copy pasting the same. Your content's going to go farther because of the algorithm, but you're not having to rewrite everything because you have a tool that's going to rewrite it for you, so you can create native content on the platform over a mass amount of different groups. So I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah, so when you look at it, obviously you've got your video content. The idea is you want to be like, when you look at your content flow and you're like how you get everything out, you want to be at the front of the flow chart and not stuck somewhere in the middle as well. So you want to be right at the front where you create that first piece of content, you create that initial section. Because obviously, if you're doing personal branding, you're putting your face on a video, no one else can really do that. So unless you've got some really good CGI and get someone else to do it for you. But you want to put yourself at the start of the flow chart, and then as your money comes in and as you continually make more money from this content, you can then outsource the back end of that flow chart, those repurposes and those like content cuts, those transcribes, and all of that can be outsourced as long as you put yourself in the front and not in the front, in the middle, and at the end. Otherwise, you will never get out of content creation. You have to put yourself at the front, similar to what Gary Vee does or Russell Brunson. They will create a piece of content, they will do a YouTube video or podcast or whatever, and that's their bit done. They will structure their videos in a way where they can pull out loads of different pieces specific for that perform well on different platforms, but then they're at the front and the rest is done behind the scenes with the team.
Yep, that's that's the best way is you put yourself out there and have all your team actually grow with you and record what you're doing so that they can do what they're experts at doing, which is editing video, putting it ready for content to be pushed to the different platforms, and then get that message out. So having a team is, again, been super important.
So obviously to round this up, it is basically it's video content and to repurpose content and trying to use the tools at hand like Writesonic, Quillbot, like Rev.com, like all of these different things to get out as much of the content as you possibly can. And then from there, it's obviously then creating those systems and those flows that you can then outsource the rest, and trying to make content like within your long form content, try and create content that can be cut up easily. So for instance, like putting a hook, like a sly hook in the middle of a video that can then obviously put the next piece of content together, batch that 1 minute video, and then away it goes on all those platforms.
I think that's a great sum up of how you actually become a content god.
And one little side note, guys, and it was only because of the experiment we done a few months back, is when people are saying, oh, master one platform, that's absolutely fine to a degree. But when we posted the exact same pieces of content and repurposed them across all platforms, not doing anything else apart from copying and pasting that content, we actually increased our views by like times 8. So we 8x our views just by putting the exact same pieces of content on those different platforms. And then, yes, there will be a crossover of viewership, obviously, from the platform to platform, but a lot of it was native views because people have their preferred platform and how they consume their content. So by you focusing on one, you are ignoring a hell of a lot of people. So always repurpose and reuse your content on other platforms. You've done it anyway, you may as well.
Yeah, I love that tip. That's a great tip. And I mean, just like you said, there'll be some crossover, but it's just another touch point that people are going to get from you and be much more apt to want to buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. So
absolutely 100%. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. We hope you can now take your ascension journey to content God, and we will see you on the next episode.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Passive Buddies podcast. Have you begun your online journey yet? Or are you stuck on how to get it to work for you? then why not take our exclusive free course, the 2-day Affiliate Commission Challenge, and start your journey to the rest of your life today. It's the first link in the podcast description and it's totally free. You have nothing to lose, yet everything to gain for you and your family. Enjoy our free gift to you, and the link is below.